Hello and welcome to Driving with Todd, and I'm Todd. And we're going to do another request. This request comes in from a YouTuber that goes by the name of Vandora Ginther. And Vandora commented to the Bee Gees I Saw a New Morning reaction that I did a little earlier on. Vandora writes, "Love the Bee Gees, the best group ever. Yes, they are fantastic. They are a true gem. More Bee Gees, 3 exclamation points. Great reaction. I request a really old one, To Be or Not to Be." Well, that is quite an old song from the Bee Gees. So that is actually from their first studio album that was released in Australia in 1965. The album was called The Bee Gees Sing and Play 14 Barry Gibb Songs. Well, this song happens to be actually written by Barry Gibb and Robin Gibb. And the story of the album is that they had a lot of singles that were released in Australia. They took but 9 of those singles, put them on this album, and recorded 5 new tracks. And one of those 5 new tracks is the song To Be or Not to Be. So this is going to be fun. This is real early Bee Gees. And I've got like many compilations of these early Bee Gee tracks from Australia, and they're fun. I mean, they're just really fun songs, a lot different than what we heard in the later 60s. So this is from 1965, and it's To Be or Not to Be by the Bee Gees.
You build me up, you let me down. How can I love? You give me no ground to be or not to be. To be or not to be, I'm gonna have you for me. One little light I saw before, the light in your eyes I don't see no more. To be or not to be. To be or not to be, I'm gonna have you for me.
Okay, 41 seconds of the song. This is a fairly short song, about 2.5 minutes long at the most. What's interesting is this is the album cover that being used for the video, and it's called Barry Gibb and the Bee Gees. And I love their early looks, especially Barry's pompadour type hairdo. I mean, that's just a great hairdo. But what's unique about this song, it's very rock and roll. I mean, this is like something that could have came across in the UK invasion of 64, 65 that hit the United States and just was a phenomenal effect on rock and roll music here in the US as well. But this is really rock and roll. I mean, it's almost like a combination of 50s rock. You know, you got a little bit of Jerry Lee Lewis or Little Richard with the piano, and the British invasion type rock, where this is, you know, could be kind of Freddie and the Dreamers, or you know, maybe a little bit of Dave Clark 5 even. But it's very rock and roll. It's not your more melodic music that they started recording in the later 60s. But what a great song. You know, these guys are great no matter what they do and no matter how old they are. So we're going to take it back and start this back up again.
Give me a chance, make up your mind. Give me romance, tell me you're mine. To be
Okay, that's pretty wild. That's a pretty wild song. Now I'm sure I've heard this before. I can't place it right now, but I know I have all these early compilation albums, like I said, that have the early Australian tracks on them. So I know I've probably heard this already, but it's just a great rocker. I mean, the piano in there is just so hard. Like I said, almost like a Jerry Lee Lewis type of piano, or Little Richard or Fats Domino, just hammering on the piano. And then they got that great guitar solo in there near the end of the song, which was also pretty wild. And I don't know if any of the members of the Bee Gees played the guitar, or if these are all studio musicians that they were using to create this record. But just wild song. I mean, it's just fun song. And I don't know if all their early stuff, I can't remember if all their early stuff was this rock and rolly. I know I just bought an album with a lot of their Australian stuff on it on 180 gram vinyl, and this song wasn't on there, but it's just fun music. I mean, these guys were just not great musicians, great songwriters, and great singers right from the get go. I mean, and they were fairly young when they did this stuff. So yeah, I just think this is fun, and any era of the Bee Gees is great to listen to. And they kept on changing, but they still always had that harmony sound, because they're a great harmony group, and great writing skills. I mean, throughout, no matter what era that you pick of the Bee Gees. So this is fun. This is really fun. I really like the fact too that on the cover of the album it's Barry Gibb and the Bee Gees. That is just really kind of cool as well, because he really does stick out. He sticks out on the cover of this album, and that's great. So this was fun. Great request. I hope you enjoyed the Bee Gees, To Be or Not to Be. If you did, hit that like button. If you have any comments about the Bee Gees, To Be or Not to Be, or any of their early works from their time in Australia, put in the comments below. That'd be really cool as well. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And then go over here, ring that bell, and get updates to my latest videos. This is awesome. Put a big, big smile on my face. Love this old style rock and roll from the mid-'60s. It's great stuff. So I hope to put a smile on your face, and peace out, baby.